what's for me? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who this is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast, Rolling Stone says, initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to discover the creative workflow of their favorite musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We are also sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. So get $100 off your entire bill. Use code CPPOD at darkfusionsystems.com. Look for the podcast below. Now let's go to our feature presentation. On Friday, July 12th, Ovtlier released a brand new song called Warriors featuring Chris Motionless from Motionless In White. Joey Arena from Ovtlier has been on the podcast 4 times, once a year since 2020. And this is the perfect time to bring Joey back to talk about the track, to talk about Chris's feature, and just to have one of the best conversations ever for anybody that's in the creative space. Because I'm be honest with you, when it comes to the music world, Joey is one of my favorite people of all time. So are you guys ready to find out how this track was made and just how great this actually is and how undeserving Ovtlier is of this? Yeah, you are. Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This man right here has been on the podcast every year since 2020. So this is not only his first, second, third, fourth, but 5th time on the podcast. He is the second member of the Chord Progression Podcast 5-Timers Club, and I wouldn't have it any other way, with a brand new song called Warriors featuring Chris Motionless from Motionless In White out now, and you can catch them playing it live. And if you're going to be at Upheaval Festival, be sure to go and catch their set too, because you're not going to want to miss out on it. So please welcome back one of my all-time favorite guests, Mr. Joey Arena from Ovtlier. So Joey, it's a pleasure to have you back, man.
Dude, it's a pleasure to be back, man. Has it been 5 times, really?
It's been 5 times, because I remember 2020 was the first time I had you on, and we had the internet issues the first day, so we did it the next day. And then right before we started recording, like, you gave your phone like for 10 minutes to Justin DeBleek, and I was kind of shell-shocked at that. Second one was with Justin when you were just starting the Arena side project. Then we did one in 2022. We did one in 2023. Now it's number 5.
Wow. That's awesome, man. It's great.
Dude, it's fantastic. It wouldn't have it any other way. So we're recording this on the day that Warriors featuring Chris Motionless was released. So I got to ask you right away, dude, how's it been on day one of this massive release?
Like I was saying off air, it really has been, again, overwhelming. It's just the word. It's the only word that comes to mind. And I think it's a bit of an understatement, but in the best of ways, it's been nothing but amazing. I can't keep up with the socials, honestly. It's like I go to one, I get caught up, and I go back to the other one. Just by the time I make my rounds, I'm like, all right, maybe I should eat something today. I haven't eaten yet. Maybe I should get some coffee, and I'm still waking up. Like, no, it's been a great thing, honestly. The fans, both our fans and Motionless's fans rallying up. It's been a strong support. Yeah, I mean, obviously anything Chris does, their fans are going to be, 100% in. They got a very committed fan base. It's very cool to see how much they've accepted this track. It's been awesome.
I'm not surprised that they accepted this track, because right from the get-go, it's like after you listen to it one way through, it sounds like it is honestly the perfect collaboration, just because from what I have listened to you all previously, it sounds like an Ovtlier track. Like, it has the Ovtlier flow to it. It has that anthemic drive to it. But then it has that little bit of you in there too, where it has some synthwave pieces in there as an influence to really bring it forward. But that also fits in with what Motionless has done in the past. And then you listen to how Chris's vocals and your vocals go toe to toe with each other. Like, this could have literally been a Motionless track too. That's how good it is in terms of connecting with not only who you guys are and you, but also amplifying what Chris is great with as well with his vocals. So however you guys created this track, it is the best collaboration that possibly could have come out of it.
It really is the best of both of us. I'd say best of both worlds. And that's been a big reaction from a lot of people, which has been awesome. They've picked up on that and they're like, dude, this is pure collaboration. It doesn't lean one side more than the other. It really just walks this is an Ovtlier part, this is a Motionless part, this is a Motionless line, this is an Ovtlier line. We also have some, like, so Chris and I pull like from the same vocal influences. So now how we execute them obviously is a little different, but I feel like, you know, being that we have a lot of the same influence, it probably shows obviously when collaborating and stuff. Sorry if you're going to pick up some of the outside stuff. So yeah, it was very easy to write. So it was co-written between me and JD. Um, Chris was not like it. We didn't know uh, collaboration was not really in the mindset actually at that time when we were writing it, and he just shared it with Chris. He sent him the demo of it, and JD like turns around and goes, "How would you feel about Chris featuring on it?" And I go, duh. I'm like, why? You know, he's like, I just showed it to him, and he pretty much stepped up to want to do it. Like he volunteered, and I was like, oh my god. I'm like, like, you fucking with me right now? And like, part of my French. And he's like, dude, he's like, no, man. Like, and I'm like, all right, let's full send. That's it. So, once we got Chris, you know, like we prepared for that, this to be a collaboration. We might have tweaked a little bit of stuff, but like you said, the synthwave thing, I mean, that's been me for years now. And uh, even old Outlier, we sprinkled a little bit of stuff in there, but it was all texture. It wasn't synthwave driven, but we had a lot of the same sounds that I used for Arena in a lot of the Outlier stuff. And so I think with Motionless, diving into that, um, on the most recent record and stuff, like it was very natural. Nothing was forced. It was not like, oh, we need to make this sound a certain way. It was just one of the best and most organic situations. Like, honestly, it was great.
I'm not surprised to hear that, JD was kind of the catalyst behind all of this, just
Of
knowing his
course.
work with Motionless, his work with Chris, his work with you previously. So it all kind of makes sense. But again, it's just how you wrote the song and how you put the whole entire thing together, especially with that little synthwave backing to it, and what Motionless has consistently done over the past, record or two. Because when you listen to the opening, even with the piano driven part of it, it sounds like it could be, part of Eternally Yours or Another Life or
Yep.
Masterpiece, which Motionless has done one of those songs on each of the last three albums. So that connective piece even is right there as well. But just the fact that, Chris listened to it and basically stepped up and wanted to be a feature on it, that not only speaks to the work that you and JD and the rest of the guys have done on this track, but I do remember, a couple of times where we've talked previously where before the pandemic hit, you were supposed to go out with Motionless in White. And then when Chris had his Octane takeover, he ended up pushing Outlier to everybody because he loves the band. He really likes what you guys do, what you stand for. So he's going to help put that out there. And now the fans get to really see more of that with Chris on this track from the Motionless side. And once again, even those little tweaks that you made, it just amplifies not only what you do well with your vocals and that little synthwave piece that really adds more to the song, but it also amplifies exactly what Chris's strengths are, so that when you guys are not only harmonizing, but going toe to toe back and forth vocally, it sounds just as strong in a comparison, and it doesn't sound out of place in any regard.
Yeah. So obviously, Chris working with JD, me working with JD, that definitely was, again, another one of those situations, totally natural. Um, Chris has been, it's no secret, at least from my mouth in any interview I've ever done. Chris has just been a very strong advocate for this band. And I mean, our Octane traction is, I give him like all of the credit pretty much. Octane wouldn't know who we are. I mean, who knows now, but back then they didn't know who we were, and he completely kicked that door. Like he didn't just open it. He kicked that thing open. I mean, we went into Accelerator right after, and like, being played, 5, 6, 7 times a day for like months. It was just, what is happening? It was such a surreal moment. And then yep, the tour. I mean, Black and Blue tour. Knocked Loose, Stick to Your Guns. Motionless, Outlier. Like it was stacked bill. It was like ready to go. It was awesome. COVID, ate those plans. But you know what? Maybe one day we'll run it back, and we'll see where we go. And I don't know, man. It's just like it's been getting up to this point. I mean, he had another takeover recently. I mean, when I say recently, I mean like within the past, like I want to say like 9 months, 8 months, and I'm pretty sure like, and I know he played Dead Man Running, actually,
Mhm.
our last single. He played it as for the first song on his takeover, and I didn't know this time. Like I didn't get a heads up on it. People are like, "Yo, you're on Chris's takeover," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was like a long time ago." And they're like, "No, he just played Dead Man Running," and I go, "What?" So I hit him up and I text him, and it's like, yeah, I played you number one. I'm like, dude, thank you. Like, he's just, dude, honestly, man, I don't know. There's a friendship there, and nothing's ever expected because friendship for me comes first. But when he does things for the band, it's just, he doesn't look for anything. He's just a very humble and genuine person. Um, I think his fan base knows him well enough to like, they can attest to what I'm saying with that. And he's honestly just a great man, dude. He's just a great person that can, when he believes in you, he believes in you, and I don't know. He's been an awesome friend. So it's been really cool.
And now to actually see him, on a full track with Outlier as well, not only does it just take that to a whole nother level within the fans' perspective, but it just continues to show the support that Chris has put behind the band from, pushing you guys on Octane with the Octane Accelerator, with his takeovers as well. But then at the same time, working and doing a whole entire track with you guys and a full music video too to boot, because sometimes, features will come in and, they'll do a little piece for the music video, but then that's it. No, Chris was pretty much throughout the whole entire thing. So that was one of the coolest pieces to see in the whole entire song, was you really seen, Chris diving headfirst into the whole entire track. And when it comes to the Motionless fans, they know Chris. They absolutely respect Chris to the highest regard. So seeing him on something like this and really putting so much time and effort into this, especially when they see the video, I mean, when it comes to a reaction standpoint from those fans, now it's going to be hard pressed for them to look at Outlier and think, who? Like, they're going to absolutely
Right.
accept Outlier because of this now. And on top of it, when it comes to Octane, it comes to radio play. I mean, right now, especially Octane, they're pushing Motionless like crazy. They have been for the past couple of years. But now they got a brand new track with Chris on it, and they have you guys on there as well. It's a new band that, people are getting to hear about now. It's the perfect time to put out something like this and have that traction really start to gain. And I mean, from my standpoint, the music video has been out for not even 12 hours at the point of recording this. Not even 12 hours. And it's like the view count just keeps going up and up and up and up. And I know you can see what the actual real-time views is. What I'm seeing is probably lagged behind by an hour. So probably by the time we're done with this conversation, it's going to be at least another 1,000, another 1,500.
So you're absolutely right. So the number that I saw is actually 1,000 more than what everybody's seeing right now, and that could vary higher or lower. But that's when I talked to my manager and stuff, like we just checked in to see how what he's seeing, what I'm seeing, how's it going, blah blah blah. Like the stories that were shared, dude, I can't keep up. It's been amazing. Their fan base has really welcomed us with open arms. Our fan base has rallied so hard behind us. Like it's I don't know, man. It's just a blessing. It feels good when something finally like comes together. You know what I'm saying? This industry, nothing's promised, and you can do everything and you could try to prepare as much as humanly possible, but um yeah, man, I always feel like I'm swimming against the current, and it feels good. It's almost like scary. It's like too good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit. Like, but it's been amazing. Again, I can't say it enough. I'm trying to find better words than the ones I'm using, but um people have like personally reached out. They've said like, because of Chris, it's no different than the takeover. Because of
Mhm.
Chris's takeover, I found out about you guys. Now it's because of Chris's appearance and his collaboration, his feature. I found out about you guys. Like, it's just, when you hear that, it's, you just they're sticking with you beyond just because it's Chris. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And you gotta expect that, a lot of people are just, they're diehard Motionless, and that's the only reason why they'll check it out. It's cool, that's it. Will they follow us after? Don't know. But we're seeing a really like positive response, that a lot of people will be, saying you got a new fan, or you got a fan for life, or I'm playing this on repeat. And you know so it's moving in a right direction for sure. um yeah, dude, it's great.
See, I kind of have a little bit of like an understanding of what you're talking about with how you're used to always swimming against the current, and now, especially in music, it feels like with this, it feels like that current's kind of reversed a little bit and is behind you and actually pushing you forward because you've got something like this that's really helping you gain even more traction. And it feels weird because you're so used to constantly fighting for yourself, fighting for the band, fighting to get as many people as possible with quality music, with a high quality sound, with a quality message behind it. And now that you're starting to see people get into it and really check it out and start to get behind it even more than they would have if they, maybe found the band 2 days ago or didn't even know about it. It's just something where you're finally starting to see, oh, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And there's going to be hard work that continues on as well. Like,
For
this
sure.
isn't the end. This isn't just like, okay, we did this and now it's over. But it feels nice to finally get, that little like boost or that push when you're so used to working so hard to try and make this happen.
Yeah, and you brought up a very, like, one of the best points right there. Like, so just because we now have a nice push, now it's about keeping up the momentum. So now it's like you got to work actually, tenfold at this point. So um you take advantage of the opportunity, you seize it, and now you go harder than before. So I mean, we've been sitting on this for 2 years. I've been like a mad scientist of just like, can't talk about it, and like, I not being able to talk about it, not being able to hype it, not being able, like, sitting on a video. I mean, it's so funny because the video came out, or the video was filmed years ago, and now, like, looking at myself then and then now, and like, even the promo shots we took were very recent, and like, for the press release, but like, I just look different than how I looked back then. So you could see just how different, or how, at least, like, how much of a time gap there's been for, sitting on this and planning around it, and releasing songs that were recorded after it to, be dropped first and stuff, and like a different, as far as like becoming more priority. um but that's a lot of politics, and as to why, it took us a little bit longer to sit on it, but, or to, to release it and stuff. So
But also the timing worked out in a really interesting way, thinking about from the Motionless fan standpoint that are now coming in to become Ovtlier fans, because Motionless hasn't released new music in 2 years. So they're just like waiting for something. And now they get Warriors and they see that Chris is on there. And they, it feels like to them potentially that this could be like a Motionless song. Like you could easily see you guys going on tour with them, you guys playing this and seeing Chris come out and do his full feature, and the fans would just go absolutely ape crazy for it. So timing wise, even with the politics, even with everything else that goes around it, this one kind of, it seems like it worked out in the perfect way to give a lot of fans what they really wanted and really give a new fans a chance to get into the band at the perfect time.
it timing is everything. I have learned that as I continue to go through life. um it's never on my time, you know what I'm saying? As
Mm-hmm.
much as we want to feel like we're in control of a lot of things, we're not, especially in the music industry. You ain't in control of shit. um but when opportunity knocks, you take full advantage and you hit the ground running. So you prepare for that opportunity. So again, I was preparing 2 years ago, but you just wait. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You wait, like, for just ready. You just prepare for it. And so when it does happen, you again, you hit the ground running, you take full advantage, and you work your ass off with it. And that's really it. I mean, um Motionless is, it's no secret because Chris has it in his profile on Instagram, but like they're working on a new record right now. So the timing is perfect because of that. So, we have an opportunity to be in the clear of everything, and that's we're gonna work it for the rest of the year. So
Absolutely. And when it comes to, constantly putting the work, putting in the time, and making sure that no stone goes unturned, from conversations with you in the past, none of that, but of course, because we're friends on Facebook and I always see the stuff that you do too. It's goddamn, I find it hard pressed to find someone who works as hard as you. So it just
thank you.
makes sense to where this comes it through. You get that boost, but the thought process isn't, we got the boost. Yay. Now what? It's we got the boost. Now let's keep going forward. Let's keep working harder to get this stuff done so that we can continue to grow the band. We can continue to make this even bigger. And we can continue to get to the point where, whenever it comes to touring, whenever it comes to making music, you can do whatever the hell you feel like. No inhibitions, no worries about money or anything. It's like, let's just keep going. Let's keep driving at this, because when it comes to the sound, it's absolutely there. When it comes to the talent, it's absolutely there. Of course, at that point, it's all about being able to get discovered and having people latch onto you. And now it's especially Octane getting behind it, Chris, of course, behind it. It's the time to really start pushing even harder now. And I know you're going to absolutely make it happen.
Thank you, man. I beat myself up over it a lot. I live up in my head. And I am in full competition with myself all the time. So you're definitely right. I'm thinking about the next move like already. Like, today's release day. Like, I have such a problem where I can't just sit present in the moment. Like, I get a moment, I'm like, all right, just this is amazing. Like, this is so good. This is so good. But then I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to follow up with though? Like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, so like that's where my head's been at, honestly, for the past 2 months leading up to this moment. Now it's going to be even more in the forefront.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but that's kind of what has to happen when you want to keep pushing forward and you want to keep making things even better.
Yep.
Just because of course you want to sit back, you want to enjoy the little things in life, and you want to enjoy those moments when they're there, because those moments don't last forever. When they're gone, they're gone. But at the same time, if you know that the moment is not going to last, and you want to get to the next moment and you want to make sure that next moment happens, you always have to have that thought in the back of your head at some point of what's the next move? How can we continue building on this? How can we maximize out on this? So I do want you to absolutely enjoy it today, because 2 years of working on this, after recording it, after filming it, and the perfect timing of releasing it and seeing the response and the results, you deserve to absolutely enjoy this. But I know tomorrow you're going to already be thinking, how can we continue making this even better? What's the next move? You're probably already thinking that right now, but today, just enjoy it,
man. Thank you, man. Yeah, I've been present. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely basking in like gratitude and really enjoying the responses and stuff. And, but yeah, man, we live in a fast world, and you can be forgotten very quick in this world. And, music is, especially nowadays, it's a very flooded market. All genres are flooded. Mm-hmm. And you got to really constantly think about the next move as a business person. You got to think about how you're going to stand out, and just, you got to make power plays all the time in this industry and really survive, all the setbacks. So, a lot went into this video. And I kind of derailed from saying that earlier. But the video, it was such an experience. It was crazy because before we met Tom Flynn, our videographer who did Living Dead, Heartless, and Dead Man Running, I love Tom. He's so talented. He gets my vision. He's just, because I'm pretty sure I shared with you, I'm like very hands-on in the music video writing process. Yeah. So Tom takes like even more of that cinematic approach of what you could see it in Warriors. It's like, we went really extravagant with it. There's a big crew, lots of extras, lots of effects, lots of makeup too, like real makeup. Angela is, holy shit, one of the best makeup artists. She is so talented. But we actually had to shoot the video twice And before we met Tom, we shot the video with somebody else. We got the cut that, like the final edit, and it was just unfortunately nothing close to what we wanted or expected. We took a massive financial hit, but Chris was there. He was present, committed to it, and it was a very awkward conversation for me to like ask my friend to do this again for me after what he's already done for me. So, but he was so down for the ride. He saw the video and he's like, yeah, it's a good thing that, we refilmed it. And dude, everybody was just like, absolutely. Like this video, it portrays the magnitude of, just overall, like what went into the overall of like the recording and all the steps to get there. And, the amount of money we poured into it and, like just to make this happen and then sit on it for a while too. So it like, the video didn't age, even though it was filmed 2 years ago. Like things didn't age poorly in that 2 years, which was great. So yeah, there was a lot of obstacles, but we got through it, and so it does feel really good that it is out. So I am enjoying that part of it as well as like the positive like reactions too. So
I hope after shooting this once and then having to shoot the whole entire thing over again, you would be happy with the results and happy with the response, because watching the whole entire thing after doing the full reaction to it, because I did it before the music video got released, but had I done it when the music video was released, when I was thinking watching it was, yeah, any kind of cinematics, what you guys did, nothing aged. And the reason behind it is because the way it was shot and the way you guys did it, because it reminded me a lot of those. It was like kind of if Zack Snyder directed 300 in the 2020s, because it has that epic feel to it. It has that cinematic, classic, historical battle feel. Or you go back and watch a movie like Gladiator, which came out in 2000, and cinematically, even in 2024, it holds up to an incredible amount.
oh
And it
yeah.
has both of those feels to it, just not only on this epic standpoint, epic cinematic grand scheme of things, but just it also fits so well with the way the song flows, with the messaging behind it, with that marching anthemic drive that has to it. It literally sounds like you're getting ready to go into battle for something, whether it's, against somebody else that's holding you down, or whether you go battle with yourself to make sure that you can pull your actual self through something and go forward and not let all the other shit in life, whether it's problems politically, economically, socially, whatever it is, or other people, because you know what you can control and you know where you want to go in life. If you control what you can control in life and let everything else just do what it is, not worry about it, just figure out what it is, react to it in the best way possible, control what you can control, then you're going to end up succeeding and you're going to end up winning that battle in the end. You're not going to end up living a life of just sheer, well, this is what it is, if you keep driving it and you keep focusing in on what you can.
Absolutely. And that you hit the nail on the head for not only like influence visually. I mean, if I could get like 300 jack dudes to be in a video, sure, I would have like gone that route. But like, we definitely wanted to do something a little different. We wanted, I mean, it was an army from the dead, you know what I'm saying? But back in a time when people were hand to hand combat. Mm-hmm. So I relate that as being tougher, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of like little details and things that put some extra thought into it to give that warrior, like warrior is a strong word. You know what I'm saying? It's a strong name. It's a strong thing to be. And you want to feel that in the video. You want to feel that in the song. The song is strong. It's like, it doesn't need to be metal and blast beats and all this nonsense to be strong. Like the song is a strong, strong rock song. And, we get heavy in the bridge, but the chorus needs to be anthematic. I mean, when you think of a battle cry or like tribal drums, like, from like armies from back then, they're intimidating. You know what I'm saying? They're anthematic. It's powerful. And, we try to address that in the video as well as the song. And I think that a lot of people felt that, a lot of people are like, especially on like X, are just like, putting in capital letters like rise or rise from the grave or just like rise up. And it's like, that's what I want. I wanted like, that's why we start the song right out the gate, just saying rise. Like it's just power, man. We're letting you know we're setting the stage for it. So
setting the stage for it. And then also in the chorus too, when you have all the warriors just kind of going, whoo, because that really is what reminded me of like, oh, I'm like, okay, this is definitely having that 300 inspiration, not only from the cinematic side in the video, but sonically in the sound as well. Because I mean, if you're, it's kind of like those massive speeches in movies where whoever's leading the army is charging everybody up, getting ready to go into battle. And it's like, are you with me? And everyone just goes, who? It just absolutely fits, and it makes bands that end up like really employing something like that. Like I think of a band like The Who use a good amount of that, but it brings forward that, you know, that tribalness, that real, you know, toughness feel to it, and that connective feeling to everything. And how you guys are able to use it on this song as well, and put it together not only from the beginning, but in the chorus, and continually show that through the anthemic drive of the song, while visually having it seem like an epic tale of, you know, combat, war, toughness, fighting something that's pushing you down. It absolutely shows in every step of the way.
Right. So yeah, definitely influenced by 300. So that chant, yeah. So we're really stoked on that. We expect all of the fans to sing that, you know, hit us with that big, oh, I mean, dude, I want to hear that on stage, and I want it to like go through my body. Like when I'm on stage, I want it to be so loud. So I can't wait for the day where it's like loud enough for me to hear that and just make a full on impact. I mean, we are going to play it at Upheaval, totally dropping that now. We're going to play it, and, you know, I'm going to hype people up for that part. So I want to hear people really lend their voices for it. So.
And now I am very disappointed in myself that I'm not going to be at Upheaval this year, because I definitely wanted to be a part of this after hearing that. I'm like, God damn it. And not only that, but the one thing I wanted to do if I was going to be able to make it to Upheaval this year was I was going to sneak my, like not necessarily sneak my way in, but I was going to, you know, make sure you wouldn't really spot me while I was in there. Because then by the time you're done at the end of the song, I was going to chuck a bouquet of flowers at you so you could finally feel like Tony Bennett.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I'm still waiting for my bouquet of flowers. So one day.
Well, unfortunately, because when you brought that up to me, I haven't been able to see you live since. So it's like I still really, really, really want to do it at some point, and it's like it's still stuck in my mind. It's something I haven't forgotten. My key is going to be, how am I going to get the flowers in whatever venue you're playing at? But then also, how do I hide it so you don't see it until the end?
I know people are going to think you're like smuggling in something.
Depends on the venue, though, because if it's like a festival setting, an outdoor venue, they just think I'm crazy, and they just are like, "Oh, it's just a festival thing. Just go with it." If it's a venue that I really don't know the people at, it's kind of like, who the hell is this? But if it's a venue around, you know, good old Milwaukee, oh yeah, I can get away with pretty much anything in those.
I think, yeah, festivals would definitely probably let you have that stuff in. I don't see them having a problem with that, but yeah, one day they'll do it.
One day I'll do it, and it's going to be absolutely glorious. And put it out, because it'll be like, it's just a long time coming. And when you brought up that first, I have not forgotten it, and I am still dead set on making it happen.
Yeah. So for those that do not know, and you're listening to this right now, this is an old conversation of my favorite concert I've ever been to was Tony Bennett, and that I was the only person under 50, and he was having like 80-year-old women be escorted up by their husbands, carrying like bouquets of like flowers and roses, and just like giving them to Tony Bennett. And I'm like, wow, this is like this is like a really nice thing. So that's where the inside joke comes from. So one day I'm gonna get my flowers from Kevin. So.
Yeah, or what's even be crazier is all of a sudden someone gives you the flowers and you'll be like, oh, where's Kevin? And it was somebody else that's completely different that you maybe have not seen before, but just saw this. And then it's going to be like, I know you're going to tell me about it. I'm going to be both happy that, hey, someone actually did it, but be mad because I didn't do it first.
You didn't do it first. I know, right?
So like, I must find that person and just be like, yeah, just that, because I can't be mad at them for doing it, but it's just like, come on, that was me.
So if you do a bouquet of flowers, just say from you and Kevin.
Yeah, just make sure my name is also on it as well, and then we're good. I like I like that. I'm a big
It
fan
could
of
be
that.
a collaboration.
Yeah, just a good old collaboration about whatever it might be. I
That's
came up
it.
with the idea. If you run with it, you know what? Run with it, but just make sure my name's on it. Give me some credit, people. Just give me the
There
credit.
you go. There you go.
Well, outside of upheaval in 2024, what else you got going on? Because I've also been pretty much starving for an Outlier show at some point, and I'm just like, when is it gonna happen? So, what else you got going on for 2024, Joey?
So we have a festival. We're playing Vortex Festival, um, which is in like central New York. It's a newer fest. We played last year. We were asked to come back. Great people run it. They're going to build it into something great over the years. They're such nice people. So shout out to them. That's August 3rd. And then we're going on a small tour with our friends in a Skylit Drive and Varsity. Varsity are my homies. Skylit Drive is like they're great people. It's just gonna be a really cool tour. This is gonna be our second tour with the Skylit Drive and our first tour with Varsity. So it's just gonna be friends. Like, and I love tours like that. Oh, I love when I get to tour with my friends. It's just such a good time. It's just easier to have that camaraderie on the road. Um, so we have that, and then we're working on something else for the fall, later fall right now, but nothing's like 100%. But it'll be cool. It'll be a really cool run. I did not anticipate touring this year, to be honest. For those that do not know, I rescue senior dogs or handicapped dogs, and I had a dog that had kidney disease, and I told my agent like I don't really want to tour a lot this year because we were really battling that, and then we started reversing his numbers, but then he got worse. So it was really hard to set up a tour schedule, and it was actually a shame because I had to cancel a festival because my dog was having seizures. We were supposed to play in Idaho, and he started developing seizures for the first time. Sorry if that plane's like really loud. Uh, so he started developing seizures, and I felt too guilty leaving him, obviously in that state. And then unfortunately, he passed away like a week and a half later. So I would have I would have had immense guilt if I left during that time. Um, so yeah, that's why the touring schedule is a little slim this year. Next year is going to be very very active though.
So a couple of things on that. One, you're making me a little jealous right now because the fact that you're going out with Varsity too, and I've had Joey on the podcast like 3 or 4 times, and he's
That's my
always
boy.
an absolute gem to bring on here. He'll probably be the next member of the Five Timers Club. So absolutely perfect for that. And it's just like seeing both you guys play would just be absolutely incredible. I'm like, I know it's not come anywhere near me, but maybe the one for later in the fall will come around, and then we could finally do the bouquet of flowers. But if not, then 2025 is that. But I also remember, from the previous, the last episode we did, I believe you did talk about, the fact that you rescue senior dogs with, illnesses. And I mean, I also see you post about it all the time too. So
Oh yeah, I'm crazy. It's either music, my remodeling business, or animals. Yeah.
yeah, and I've got to actually show my girlfriend that stuff because she's a huge dog lover and be like, yeah, this is the guy I talked to recently. Check out all the stuff that he does. And she'll just be like, oh my God, I love this guy.
Yeah, us psycho dog lovers, it's like a language because not everybody, it's one of those things. If you know, like, so not everybody like is like that. Like I say that there's people that like dogs and then there's people that love dogs. So there's two different types.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely still on the like dog side. I know you are definitely on the love dog side. My girlfriend, yep, love dog side. There is no
Dude,
doubt about it.
and believe me, man, sometimes I wish it was more of like a like dog situation. It wouldn't fuck me up so much the way that it does, but um there's a blessing and curse to it. So it is what it is. It makes me feel good to do things like that. I look at it as it hurts more for me to see a dog in its senior years in a cage, neglected, rejected, and it's a horrible way to die. I mean, it's a horrible fucking way to die. I mean, we don't do it to humans, but it's just so funny that just people just get rid of dogs so easily and put them on the streets. And like, I don't know. I'm a crazy animal lover, and I think dogs are just the embodiment of innocence. And I'm sure there's like some deep childhood shit that like kind of like comes out and as to why I do this. But it makes me feel really good, but it comes with a lot of heartache. You know what I'm saying? So it's, but again, I always say that, you know, people are like, I don't know how you do it. And again, it hurts more to not do something about it. That's why. So
Absolutely. And it's something that not many people even think about undertaking because, you know, especially from caring for senior dogs, because there are the problems, because, you know, it's what happens with age. It's like people, you know, people get older and sometimes family members don't want to deal with them. So they put them in nursing homes or
right.
elderly homes and just kind of like, okay, here, now you're out of the way. They see it as an inconvenience. And for someone to like yourself to say, no, it's not inconvenience. And I don't want to let these creatures, these beautiful things just sit in a cage for to end their lives and just be miserable and actually give them a chance at a great life. You know, it's something you don't see every single day, but it also speaks to the integrity that you have as a person and the amount of care that you put into so much. So every time I see you post something about any one of the dogs that you're caring about, the whole entire saga of it, it just absolutely speaks to the fact that these dogs are incredibly lucky to have crossed paths with someone like yourself.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I know I get a little, I get pretty passionate in my posts about it and like very descriptive. And I noticed that there's it's primarily on Facebook really, but there's like a strong community of people that really care about that and they want me to post updates like that. And, you know, when I know that people care about something, I'll continue to, you know, lean into that, whatever that is. Um, and I just somehow attract a lot of that on Facebook. And yeah, dude, it's you know, I don't know. I'm not sure like what it says about me. Like I said, I think there's some like deep childhood shit in there. I just yeah, man, if I could save them all, I would, you know. So it's become a newfound purpose that one day I would really, 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 really love to buy land and just open up a sanctuary. Um, Actually, there's a dude called he has a page called the Asher House. I'm sure some of your followers will know about this dude. And dude, he's like living my dream life. Like honestly, he's just got so many awesome dogs, and they're all different breeds and ages, and you know, and it's just like, you know, he posts a video like so all the time, and he's just like it's rescue day, and so he just goes to him going to different kill shelters and just getting dogs and like it's wild. I mean, he's got like over 100, maybe 20 something dogs now. And it's just crazy, dude. I mean, granted, he's got help now. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there's probably some sort of funding or, you know, organization maybe backing him and helping him or some sort. But like, it's amazing. The guy's got all this gorgeous land and, you know, it's, you know, what do you want to do in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you really want to do? And I think that everybody needs to ask themselves that. Like, what do you really, really want to do? Do you want to just get up, brush your teeth, go about your day and live like something as simple as that? If so, God bless you. I
Mm-hmm.
I I feel so tortured that I have to like do something. And I again, it's like there's a plus side to it and there's, you know, there's pros and cons and you know, I won't be able to save them all and it's a harsh reality that I constantly for some reason need to like tell myself that, um but you know, I don't know, man. I just all I've ever done was rescue. I've had pit bulls in the past and all that stuff, but it was before like Facebook and
Yeah.
much social media and all of that. And I think that just as I've gotten older, it's just gotten more stronger. That's all. I've just gotten more passionate about it. So
Well, if later in life, if you're able to do something like that, we're able to rescue as many dogs as possible, buy some land, and just do something like that, just please let me know because I'm willing to support that any way I can.
oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate that, man. Um, it's funny, my neighbor, um, he's 50s, 60s. He tells everybody. He tells his friends that come over, and he tells me like he's like I tell people like in my next life, I want to come back as one of Joey's rescues because he just sees like, dude, I'm taking him outside all the time. I'm like laying with him, I'm kissing him, and I'm like, it's just like I try to give a lot of love to these animals. So it's just funny when people say that. Um, I don't realize how much love I'm giving them. It's just kind of like uh clockwork, and but I guess I treat him really well, and it's funny for him to make that joke or whatever. So funny.
Hey, it's just expressing more admiration for what you're doing with these dogs, man. And I know you got to go feed your dog. I don't want to keep your dog
Oh
waiting
yeah,
to
there you
eat.
go.
But I got one more question before we wrap this
Sure.
up. And Joey, it's something I like to ask every artist I bring on now. It's the first time we get to ask you this, but this is a question that allows us to get to know more music that you love, but also us to discover more new music. So, Joey, can you name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into?
I'm gonna be honest. I I don't listen to a lot of new music. I'm sure I'm like letting a lot of people down right now. Um, Something that I definitely listen to all the time that I think a lot more people need to learn or like just get into. Uh, I mean, it's synthwave, so the Midnight. If people don't know the Midnight, they need to follow like dive into the Midnight, and then a lot of the artists that sound like them, like LeBrock, Ali, Ollie Ride, FM 84, and Time Cop 1983, Josh Daly, like they need to listen to all these people. Like it's just such feel good music, and I think that like music feeds the soul, and if you put something good on, it's like it just sets a mood. I feel like that's good medicine. So definitely start with the Midnight and go from there. Um, Dude, I'm annoying, bro, when it comes to this. Honestly, we're like, "Oh, what's your favorite band?" I'm like, you know, I listen to old shit. Like I really do. And I think that's possibly something that's maybe cool about my writing is that I don't listen to new stuff. So I think it's cool because hopefully that keeps us away from sounding like all the bands.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, you know, a lot of bands hop on trends. You know what I'm saying? They all
Yep.
try to sound like you just see where like they're like schools of fish. You see where they're swimming next, and it's like, oh, let's all do this. And it's like a big school just going this way. And like, power to you. Um, but I mean, dude, I listen to a lot of Van Halen, bro. Like, I like that wasn't a gimmick. Um, I listen to Boston. I play Metallica at least once a week. Um, this is not a good question for me.
No, but Joey, did you realize when you brought up the Midnight, you brought up like 4 other bands off of that too? So you gave me 5 off the bat, and you're still trying to go. Like
Oh well, I
you
mean,
already did it, man.
yeah, I mean, I didn't want to just feed you all like just synthwave artists. I guess that's why I didn't really do that. Yeah, I mean, I guess like bands in the rock and metal world. I mean, I will say this. I think more people do need to check out Varsity. Um, Not just because Joey's my homie, but he is. I mean, you want to talk about hardworking man? Like, um, he's probably gonna laugh if he sees this because we just never even really told him this. But he's Joey and I get along so well, and I think because you know, we're a lot like we're alike in many ways, but we're a lot of the same. Like we have a lot of the same personality, I guess. Maybe charisma as well. Um, and Joey's got just an amazing voice. I mean, dude,
Mm-hmm.
the, the vocal runs he can do, it, it makes me just want to like. I just when he says like he's come out to an Outlier show and stuff, and I've seen Varsity when he played Rochester and stuff, and we'll go talk and like grab food after their set and stuff, and like he's I'm like, dude, can you give me vocal lessons? Like, he just like, I know you're my boy, but can you give me lessons? Like, for real. He's just so good, man. Joey's so talented and he's very hardworking. And I think Varsity deserves more recognition. I have like gone to the gym, thrown Varsity on, and just let it go down like all discography. Um, so I will say that if people are like trying to look for like up and coming stuff, definitely listen to Varsity. And I mean, I gotta try to recall if there's like another one that I feel has been like as dope as that, you know. Um, I mean, there's a lot of good up and coming bands. There really are, and you know. But as far as like knowing them personally, when like people are like, yeah, you know, who should I check out? Like, I look at more than just how they sound.
Hmm.
I really want to I want to make sure that they have a dope work ethic because then I feel like that's deserving of recognition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you could be like, you know, if you got like, you know, if you're a trust fund baby and you got all the money in the world, and but you have no work ethic and like you're just paying for spins and ads and all this stuff, then you know, God bless you. I was dealt a different hand in life, but I like because I've been the underdog. I like I like underdogs, and that's what I like. I like dudes that deserve more, that work harder than most. Um, I'll get back to you on that.
All right. I mean, you still give me like five synthwave groups, and of course, Varsity, one of my all-time favorites to bring on here. So I still think you did more than enough promoting some of these artists. But before we wrap this
Awesome.
up, Joey, I was thinking about this during the day, and that I want to wrap up the podcast before doing the full outro with this. So this is your fifth time on the podcast,
Yep.
and first time we brought you on was in 2020, and since then, we've been friends on Facebook, and I've been always seeing your stuff pop up too. Not only with Ovtlier, not only with everything you do with your remodeling business, and everything that you've done with these senior dogs, with rescuing, with giving great looks, and of course, recently everything you did with Nacho. Yeah, I'm bringing up Nacho's name in this because this is absolutely deserving of this, and seeing every bit of this, knowing you for these past 4 years, your work ethic, your who you are as a man, and your integrity, it is something that is incredibly admirable. And even at times when you've seen it from me too, where it's sometimes things don't go well with the podcast, there's struggles that happen. Seeing how much work you put into this, and seeing who you are, and seeing the integrity that you have, dude, it's admirable, and I look up to you, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's it's something where seeing what you did with Warriors, seeing the reaction that's coming from it, seeing the response to it, seeing now that people are gonna be more in a outlier right now, it's absolutely deserved, and I couldn't be happy for you, man. Like, this is
Thank you,
incredible,
bro.
and I just want to thank you for being a friend, honestly.
Dude, you're first, bro. You don't ever have to thank me for that, man. I appreciate that though. Like that really means a lot hearing that, and um, probably can't tell, but I got a little glossy eyed listening to some of that. I really did too, especially once you said Nacho. I got like it's sensitive, and then you kind of like dove in some more stuff. I think you planned that, which is a little messed up. So I'll get you back for that one day. But no, dude, I really appreciate that, man. That really means a lot. Um, I think that I have to lead by example of whatever I preach, you know, or whatever I claim to be about. Obviously, I pride myself, you know, this on being a very authentic, unapologetic
Hmm.
individual. Um, and yeah, dude, when you were going through a time, what kind of friend would I be if I didn't reach out to you? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Not only when it's convenient for me or me getting on like your podcast, you know what I'm saying? I think that that's lame. We're still human at the end of the day. And I mean, dude, it's cliche, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
Hmm.
I really believe in that. You know, I don't even know. I stopped counting on how many years I started Outlier years ago, but I started it like my neighbor's annoying, so forgive that nonsense. Um, so like really I stopped counting because time doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like it really, really, really is not a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I understand the sun rises and sets, but like I used to look at the clock and dude, all we're doing is just time is just pissing away. And why am I not further ahead? Why is this not happening? Like your time comes when you remain consistent. And that's all that matters. My time is still not here yet. Do I have something amazing happening right now? Absolutely. But like, is this my ceiling? You know, I definitely want, I definitely hope not in a good way because obviously we're all going to want more in our
Hmm.
lives. Um, have I accomplished really cool stuff in my life enough to feed my ego over for the next 3 lifetimes? Absolutely. I mean, dude, my first dream was to go on tour. I've been on way too many tours. My second musical dream was to be on Billboard. Well, I became a Billboard artist in 2011. Like, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. Like, I had a dream to be on Warped Tour. I did Warped Tour in 2012. Like, or maybe that was in 2011. Like, I've done all of these dreams and these goals, and I just keep going and going and going. And sometimes you have to start over. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Those were different bands. Those were different endeavors. Like, those are like past life. It's different chapters. It's the same book. It's just a different chapter. You know what I'm saying? And like whatever you've gone through in your life, that moment, bro, that was just the ending of a chapter. This is like a new chapter you're writing. The story can take a wild twist for the better. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe in willpower. And I believe that if you want it, keep doing it. Do not give up. And the more you keep going, man, it's growth. It's baby steps. And Dave Grohl said this in an interview years ago, and it really, really stuck with me. And I'm gonna say this not just for, I don't think it only bands can relate to this. I'm gonna say this for anybody who's got some sort of entertainment going on, whether you're an actor, musician, podcaster, reactions, influencer, whatever. The quicker you rise is the quicker you fall. So you've seen people blow up overnight and then you've seen them disappear. I mean, shit, that Gautier dude, right?
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck was that guy? Came out with a massive hit, like, and then he's literally somebody that we used to know. So, like, gone. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
God, dude. So, like, now we don't know why or what the reason may have been. But then you have the people that are slow and steady climb. And long as you're seeing increase, doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be this steep. It could be, as long as it's not plateaued, but it's going up at some sort of incline, that's progression, bro. That's it. So, and if it's not working, you have to make the adjustment. Only you. Nobody else can do it for you. And that's what I've learned with myself. Like, if there's something that's not working right, it's not the world that's out to get me. What am I doing wrong? And you got to start with yourself in order to make any sort of corrections. And like, again, positive growth in whatever you're doing, whether it's your business or, whatever. And maybe that just comes naturally from being a business owner for almost 20 years now. So I've learned a lot of shit and, failed several times along the way. But I mean, dude, I don't know what it's like to work for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, whether it's music, acting, podcasting, whatever it is, like where you're in control of your own schedule, your own business, it takes a lot of failure. And it's really all on how many times you get up. That's all that it is. And Warriors, ironically, coming full circle, is really kind of about that. I mean, it's your inner warrior. I did a live for when we were on Octane, and people were asking what it was about. And I have the nice short version that goes out in the playlist or the press release. But I was telling the fans, like, everybody's got an inner warrior, and I do believe that. But we also have like an inner bitch, and I call it my inner bitch, and I choose to not listen to it. Like, there's times where I'm like, oh, I'll push it off, or I don't want to do that, or just whatever. Like, nah, shut the fuck up, go do it. You relax after, and no matter what that is, that's just being a fucking warrior. And whether it's health, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional or mental. I mean, dude, I'm sure we've talked about it, but like, I went to therapy. I finally went to grief counseling and really dove in the deepest, darkest parts of myself, because how the fuck am I going to ever grow unless I get uncomfortable and get comfortable with being uncomfortable? You know what I'm saying? And that, I was so wired backwards, but it actually took strength to do that, because that was the shit I was like neglecting. I was actually running from that of myself. And I was like, nah, I don't want to deal with it. Rub some dirt on it, whatever. But it's like, no, face that demon, face that shit head on. You know what I'm saying? Lock fucking horns and become become the monster and like just conquer your own shit. And that's why, Warriors coming, like I said, coming full circle. It's a very powerful song and it's very meaningful. And I think people are really, it's not, it's not just because Chris is on it. It's not just because it's an Outlier song. It's not just because it's well written. It's all of these things. And it's timing. And that's just what it is. So it's a lot of moving parts that came together and made up something really good. And I mean, dude, people on fucking Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, for the first time, like for the first time in this band's life, honestly, are like asking for lyrics left and right. I mean, you get the occasional people like, are the lyrics posted somewhere? Whatever. This is like, can I get the lyrics? Can I please get the lyrics? Like, we have a lot of messages. We have some tweets. Like, we have a bunch of stuff. People want to read these lyrics. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put them on a lyrics sheet. And now I just, you're hearing it first, kids, but I'm going to make a lyric video because I believe this song really deserves it. And I believe if there's a powerful message, it needs to be written out for the public to see. And then go to, if they're feeling at times of like defeat or, confusion or loss, whatever it is. So I'm hoping the song can really bring more than just being a dope song. So
I don't think I could conclude this podcast better than what you just said, because you brought it back full circle and absolutely continue to show why I kind of look up to you as a person, man. I don't know how to close this out any better than what you just said. So I'm going to do it by this. We're going to close this podcast with three things, Joey. First things first, when it comes to Outlier, when it comes to checking out Warriors, checking out the music video, and now the lyric video when it gets ready to come out, and seeing him play this live and check him out on tour, go script to the podcast floor. It says find Outlier online, links and labels for everything. For you can find him on social, you can find him on tour, you can stream the song, or you can watch music video. Everything is going to be down there. So I'm your own personal Google, guys. Go and check it out and make sure you follow along with these guys, because I've been telling you this for like 4 years now. If you haven't done it yet, okay, go do it now. Like now. So yeah. Now it's time for number 2. Joey, every time I bring you on the podcast, I always tell you next time I see you play live, first round's on me. I owe you like 3 or 4 at this point and a bouquet of flowers. So just get ready.
It's adding up, man. Don't worry. I'm keeping count.
I'm keeping count myself in here. Pretty soon it's just going to be like, I'm just going to bring you a case of beer and be like, this should cover at least part of it.
All good. All good.
And then number 3, Joey, this is not goodbye, because you're one of my favorite guests to have in the podcast. And I know 2025 is going to come around. We're going to do this again. And I got to make good on all those promises too. It's always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for being who you are. Thank you for being on the podcast once again. And this is not goodbye. This is, I'll see you later.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Well, folks, that was my interview with Joey from the band Outlier. Now it's time for Kevin's final thoughts. So I need to let you guys know this. So usually when Joey and I have conversations, you don't get to see like half of the conversation. Reason is because him and I usually have like 5 minutes before we even start the conversation that happens on the podcast. And then him and I talk for like a half hour, like 45 minutes all the time right after. Always catching up with each other, see how we're doing. And it's always one of my favorite things every single year with a podcast, because this continues to happen. And this guy is one of my favorite guests of all time for this reason. He is as authentic as they come. He is one of the most hardworking people I've ever seen in the music industry or in life in general, rivaling maybe like my dad. And that's it. And that's saying a lot. And it's incredible to not only know who this person is, but see the fact that how much work he puts into this music, how much work he puts into himself and everything he does. To see a moment like this, where they are getting traction, where they are getting played on Octane, where they're getting a bunch of new fans to come in that are checking this out at the perfect time when Motionless in White is working on a brand new album, and when they have not gotten a brand new song from Motionless in 2 years. And they get this with Chris, and it sounds like it could be a Motionless song. The combination of it is beautiful. Just everything about it just speaks to the hard work ethic of Joey, of Outlier, and what happens when you finally get a piece of momentum, and they're going to keep rolling with it, and you're not going to want to miss this train either. You're going to want to make sure you're following along with Ovtlier from here on out. So go to the description of the podcast below where it says find Ovtlier online. Links, labels for everything. You're going to be there. So go and follow along with them. Stream Warriors, watch the video and check out our reaction to it as well because it's a good time. Be sure to follow them and see them live. Also, be sure to subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast on YouTube. It's right down here. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe because we do new episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday with some of the best bands out there and some of the best bands you're going to want to know. Let's put it this way. The day I recorded this with Joey, a couple hours earlier, I had Maddie Mullins on the podcast with Anne Berlin. Yeah, that's coming. It's on the board right there. So get ready. It's coming. So you're not going to miss out on it. And follow along with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Links for the podcast below. Thank you, Joey. I'm looking forward to seeing you live once again. We're going to have a couple of drinks on me. And I'm going to get those flowers to you, man. It's going to be great. So on that note, that's going to be it for me today, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin. And you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!